Welcome to GESARA for Dummies. It is May 14, 2025. Let's look at today's news from Professor William Liebenberg, prepared by Martin Stein. Please like, share and subscribe. Join our Telegram group in the comments below. Thank you. Let's go. Iraq and Dinar RV. Oil ports, dollars and dinars. Iraq quietly moves on the global chessboard. Iraq's seaports just clocked $215.3 million in the first quarter of 2025 revenue. Watch the water. Khor al-Zubair port alone pushed out 207 tankers. The crude is flowing. But here's the kicker: revenues are duly reported in the United States dollar and Iraq dinar. Why? Because currency leverage matters in a petrodollar world unraveling. The Iraq dinar is now at 1,320 per United States dollar, inching under pressure. Watch the demand side. The new Grand Fa port is set to open in 2026, which is Iraq's next major role in regional trade. Iraq is looking beyond war, it's looking at trade routes. Decode: when you report in both currencies, you're not just showing balance sheets. You're telegraphing monetary posture. Iraq's oil is still king, but its ports are becoming the crown. Watch the dinar. When shipping lanes stabilize, currencies often follow. Iraq's trade bank just passed JPMorgan Chase's global systems test, scoring 99.68% in automated cross-border transfers. This is the green light that Baghdad's financial infrastructure is now. Elite tier. Dollar clearing. Euro settlement. This is instant global rails. The RV isn't a question of if. This is proof the system is already live, just waiting for the switch. And the timing couldn't be more precise. 1. Week of the Baghdad 2025 summit. 2. Iraq taking over economic policy leadership in the region. 3. Oil exports were throttled on purpose. 4. Iraq dinar budget tables locked, and waiting. 5. Trump securing trillion-dollar backing from the Gulf. But in 2018. No budget. No liquidity. No forex integration. Nice award. Zero follow-through. Now it's 2025 and they want it again with 1. 387 global correspondent banks. 2. Live, Mount, 103 clearance. Mount, 103 means, a standardized SWIFT payment message used specifically for cross-border/international wire transfers. 3. United States dollar, and the euro settlement precision at 99.68%. 4. Full ISO infrastructure. 5. Budget locked. 6. Oil exports were throttled. 7. The Arab Summit is about to go live, in Baghdad. It's not the same award they won. It's the same signal, finally activated. Back then it was a trophy. Now it's the trigger. The GESARA Law. President Trump arrived in Saudi Arabia, and was treated as a king, to begin his first major international trip of his second term. He saved their country, they made him king. Purple carpets were rolled out for him, fit for a king, whilst wearing a purple tie. Let's watch this clip. The president's visit began with a lavish welcome ceremony, with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, at the Saudi royal court. Ponder on this. The Saudi Royal Guard. On horseback. Carrying American flags. Escorting the beast through Riyadh. This isn't a handshake. This isn't a photo op. This is the kingdom showing allegiance. No fist bumps. No side glances. A full ceremonial honor. The Middle East just crowned its partner, and it's not the guy who needed a cue card to find his chair. This is a moment in the light for Saudi Arabia, with the announcement of President Trump dropping sanctions on Syria. Riyadh has always wanted to position itself as a leader in the Arab world. This is a move towards that. Other Arab states that want something from Washington will now turn to the Saudis for leadership. He is also scheduled to travel to Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, BRICS, this week. The visit to the Gulf states comes at a crucial moment for diplomacy, as U.S. officials work quickly to make trade deals, following Trump's sweeping tariffs. President Trump officially signed strategic economic partnership with Saudi Arabia. Let's watch this clip. President Trump and the Crown Prince are securing energy and technological deals in the Middle East. Elon Musk joined and greeted President Trump and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Let's watch this clip. These deals will secure our transition into new developments in energy. This Middle East transition from oil to the inclusion of energy transition is a boost for both economies and the global nation. Trump's deals with China will reboot the banking and economic sectors of the markets regarding trade. Elon Musk secured his deal with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, along with Trump. Saudi Arabia allows the use of Starlink. We are witnessing the transition in the energy sector and the new digital asset-based trading system. We are witnessing the world in transition. The alliance is being cemented, trade deals with empires are secured, the financial systems are being locked in, now we need the cryptocurrencies regulations. GESARA. The idea is simple, we're going to create an investment account for every newborn American child that the federal government will seed with $1,000. BRICS GESARA Nations Alliance. The United Arab Emirates, UAE, is a member of BRICS. Dubai partners with Crypto.com to accept crypto for government services. XRP is the first regulated crypto asset in Dubai. Dubai embracing XRP as the first regulated crypto asset marks a monumental shift in global finance. From BRICS, the XRP global trend is getting wider and wider. Let's talk about Operation Sandman. Even Fox News is talking about Operation Sandman, nations that will possibly dump the US fiat dollar. Trump in his announcement. Total reset with China. Let's watch this clip.
In addition, yesterday we achieved a total reset with China. After productive talks in Geneva, both sides now agreed to reduce the tariffs imposed after April 2nd to 10% for 90 days as negotiators continue in the larger structural issues. And I want to tell you that a couple of things. First of all, that doesn't include the tariffs that are already on, that are our tariffs, and it doesn't include tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, things such as that, or tariffs that may be imposed on pharmaceuticals, because we want to bring the pharmaceutical businesses back to the United States, and they're already starting to come back now based on tariffs.
Syria needs a fresh start. In Iran, good things are happening. Dan Calms, Russian reset happening now. Now watch this Fox News clip.
Announced this week that Russia will begin using the Chinese yuan for international payments instead of the dollar. Saudi Arabia is also in talks with Beijing to do the same thing. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, they are in talks with Iran as well to consider an economic alliance with China and Russia. And they can even be joining the BRIC countries, which is an acronym for these countries here, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries all have emerging economies. So what happens if our economy and the U.S. dollar are no longer the world's dominant currency? Former Assistant Treasury Secretary and host of the Monica Crowley podcast, Monica Crowley, is here to weigh in. Monica, great to see you this morning. Let's start right there. What happens if these emerging economies move away from the U.S. dollar towards the Chinese yuan?
Well, good morning, Will. It's great to be with you. And it's really hard to overstate exactly how catastrophic the abandonment of the U.S. dollar would be as the world's global reserve currency. Look, since the end of World War II, the dollar has been the safe place to go, and it's been backed up by a couple of things. It originally was backed up by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard, so there's no hard asset backing up the dollar anymore for the last 50 years. But also it's been backed up by the strength and economic power of the United States and the fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar. Look, there's a perfect storm happening right now, Will. The world's reserve currency being that, having that status has been a real privilege, but we've abused the privilege by wholly reckless monetary and fiscal policies over many years, certainly over the last couple of years, which has really devalued the dollar. On top of that, now you do have this perfect storm of Biden's weakness, his war on American domestic energy production, the Ukraine war, and as you point out, because of all of these things, we've got America's enemies led by China forming a new economic bloc. And all it would take at this point now, because we're at this pivotal moment, Will, is for Saudi Arabia, who has indicated that they're open to this, to say, you know what, we're going to be open to considering other currencies to trade in oil. If that were to happen, there would be a complete implosion of the global economic system, but certainly the American economic system. And if that were to happen, you'd be looking at sky-high inflation, just raging Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. But more importantly, we would lose our economic dominance and we would lose our superpower status.
Monica, the world's reserve currency, you said it's a privilege for the United States for the dollar to have been the world's currency. How does that relate to each individual American? How has that changed or impacted or improved our lives throughout the last several decades?
Yeah, I mean, it's given the United States incredible dominance in the world in terms of the economic system and in terms of trade. It's kept prices down. So whether it's energy prices, whether it's your food prices, the entire global economic system is reliant on the safe and secure dollar. But that is no longer true, again, because we've been printing money like crazy and devalued the power of the dollar and the value of the dollar. But on top of it now, again, oil is the critical linchpin of this. If Saudi Arabia decides to join with America's enemies here and start trading oil in different currencies, that is going to undermine the entire global economic system. And here at home, you know what it's going to mean for us? It's going to mean raging inflation, so much worse than anything we have ever experienced, Will. And I'll tell you, they're setting it up so that they can then come to the rescue by introducing central bank digital currencies. If they were to do that, and the United States already has a pilot program, that means the loss of your individual economic freedom, because the government will have total access and control of everything you buy and sell and the ability to turn it off like that.
Ominous warning. I hear you. Saudi Arabia is the tipping point. Oil trading in dollars is the tipping point.
Dan posted Metallica Sandman 5 times, since October, 2024. Are we now in the fifth and final stage of Operation Sandman? Will the world be completely different by the time President Trump returns? Which country did President Trump visit that has plenty of desert sand? Yes, Saudi Arabia. Who is this Sandman in the picture? Operation Sandman. BRICS is ready. What if President Trump went over to the Middle East for the final touches, to collapse the cabal's fiat dollar, for the launching of the Ripple's USD stablecoin, BRICS alliance? Trump said, exciting chance to open up China. Says always had a great relationship with Xi. With the tariff squabble calmed down, will POTUS spark a U.S. business boom with Beijing? Let's watch this clip.
One of the things I think that could be most exciting for us and also for China is that we're trying to open up China because, as you know, many years ago we opened up the USA. Now it's time for China to open up, and that's part of our deal. And we're going to open up China. To me, that's the most exciting part. But yeah, we made a deal. The relationship is very good. I've always had a good relationship with President Xi. It was interrupted because of COVID, obviously, but outside of that, I've always had a great relationship, a lot of respect for him. And we'll see how that all works out. But we have the confines of a very, very strong deal with China. But the most exciting part of the deal, it was mentioned, but we don't talk about it yet. That's the opening up of China to U.S. business. And that would be like opening up a whole new world, and I think it would be even better for China.
See what the Q Military Intelligence posted 1120 on April 10, 2018. Clarify. Chongqing. Tuesday. Demand. Xi. Confirm tariff reduction. Tuesday, China. Cars. The article provides a foundation. Major import. Ford. U.S. Start. Then the Q Military Intelligence post, 1081, distinctly says, Putin is Russia's president. His job is to look after the Russian people. Put yourself in his shoes. He wants to win. Why not take advantage of his enemies? Trump comes along. Russia, Putin becomes our ally. Xi becomes our ally. Xi and Putin are also under attack by the deep state, which is rooted globally. Many uninformed people suggest that Putin and Xi, meaning Russia and China, are our enemies. These uninformed will wake up with a horrific shock at some stage, and then will have to correct their social media posts. BRICS nations are gearing up to reevaluate their currencies. Iran is reevaluating its currency as I write. Venezuela will issue a third series of the digital, if Maduro remains. However, should the U.S. do a number on Maduro, then the Bolivar will revalue it in a great way. If anyone takes the time to break down the Iraqi budgets, and the budgetary plans to build cities at 1,310 dinars, to $1, will never work. However, at 1 dinar, to $3.25, the numbers make fiscal sense. Do the math, numbers can hide, currency wars. If you are wondering, what is the next step in the big picture on, crypto, or RV? It is the Genius Act. It is stumbling through the congressional system, and being strategically delayed. Is this delay on purpose? Yes. When they are completed, things will move fast. If you don't know, this is the starting gate for Ripple USD stablecoin. This is going to change the world. Money transfers will change forever. Once the cryptocurrencies regulations are signed into law, the world's integrated cross-border payment systems will come online, and the cabal SWIFT system will be obliterated, taking the Federal Reserve and global central banks with it. That sums up your Wednesday news. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.